We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
China, Iran, protecting the oceans, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The government of the Philippines said on Saturday that it had spotted a Chinese naval ship off the coast of a Philippine-occupied island in the South China Sea. The country's Coast Guard said that the ship was seen in the vicinity of Thieu Island, along with dozens of militia vessels believed to be manned by Chinese naval personnel. Thieu is notably the country's most important and strategic island outpost in the South China Sea, but Chinese officials have continually asserted that the territory within the sea belongs to Beijing. The two countries have often sparred over the island, and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. previously said that his nation would not lose an inch of island territory in the region. Iranian officials gave new assurances to the United Nations Nuclear Agency that it will assist with atomic inspections and reinstall monitoring equipment at its nuclear sites. The UN's International Atomic Energy Agency released a joint statement with Iranian foreign diplomats saying that the inspections will be carried out in a spirit of collaboration and in full conformity with the competencies of the IAEA and the rights and obligations of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In addition, the agency said that Iran, on a voluntary basis, will allow the IAEA to implement further appropriate verification and monitoring activities. The pledge marks a renewed sense of cooperation between the IAEA and the often secretive Iranian nuclear program. Promises like this have been made in the past to no avail. The United Nations reached a historic treaty to protect marine life and biodiversity in the world's oceans, a milestone in a years-long effort to pass official legislation against the destruction of oceanic habitats. The UN Convention on the Law of the Sea was first penned in 1982 and updated again in 1994. However, efforts to rehash the convention since then have been hindered by disagreements over funding and protections for fishermen. Saturday's update applies to all regions outside of internationally held waters known as the high seas. The agreement applies to around half of the planet's surface and increases the current 1.2% of the high seas that were already under protection. A drawback of this agreement is that it comes into conflict with environmental programs because now wind farms will need to be evaluated as to how they are impacting ocean wildlife. A new memo released by the House Subcommittee investigating the origins of COVID states that new evidence suggests that Dr. Fauci prompted the drafting of a publication that would disprove the lab leak theory. The authors of this paper skewed available evidence to achieve that goal, and Dr. Jeremy Farrar went uncredited despite significant involvement, the memo said. The evidence comes in the form of emails from Dr. Fauci. China Premier Li Keqiang announced Sunday at the start of the country's annual legislative session that Beijing has set an economic growth target of 5% this year. It is Beijing's lowest growth target in more than a quarter century. This year, it is essential to prioritize economic stability and pursue progress while ensuring stability, Li said in a government work report. Last year's target was 5.5%, and the world's second biggest economy fell far short. China is struggling to bounce back from the devastating effects of 3 years of strict restrictions to slow the spread of COVID-19. During this week's legislative session, President Xi Jinping is expected to continue solidifying his grip on power. Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Mark Warner, the Democrat from Virginia, said he plans to introduce a bill proposing a strategy to ban some foreign technology, including China's popular TikTok video sharing app. TikTok has faced intense scrutiny over privacy concerns. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is based in China and privately held. They are taking data from Americans, not keeping it safe, but what worries me more with TikTok is that this can be a propaganda tool, Warner said. Warner's legislation, which he said has broad bipartisan support, comes after a House committee last week advanced a bill that would give President Biden authority to ban TikTok. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. I'll see you next time.